Welcome to KSOK Uncensored. We are sitting here I'm in Oregon, but as you guys know, I've been working in Washington State for two politicians. Today is Election Day in Washington and many other states across the country. This is a big deal. So I know we're playing this on Thursday. As you guys know, we are at CPAC and unable to do a live show, but this is a big deal. We are here on Election Day. It's Tuesday. And what a better guest to have than Johnny from VotifyNOW, which is a nonpartisan app used to track potential irregularities that are seen concerning voting and so much more. I dove into it deep last night, and we have Johnny here. Let's go ahead and bring him in, and we can dive into all things VotifyNOW. Good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning, Kristen. Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm pumped to have you on. And what better timing? Election day here. A lot of people are watching many elections across the United States very closely. Let's go, right? So, talk to us
Yeah.
about your app. I can dive into it. I took tons of notes last night because I'm really into what you're doing here. But you identified a need, you identified a potentially broken process or lack thereof, a tracking process, and you put a fix in place. Talk to us about your app.
Yeah, thank you. So Votify Now, the idea first came to me probably about a year and a half ago, of all things, when Stacey Abrams was complaining about the gubernatorial race in Georgia. That sort of got the wheels turning. And then, of course, by 2020, I thought, man, it appears both sides of the aisle here are not happy. And of course, people in the country are not satisfied with the election system. Election integrity seemed to be a major issue. So we went to work trying to solve what we think could be a different process besides the idea of an audit later on after the fact. We very much thought this needs to be something where, almost like community journalism, community policing, where a voter can have the app on their phone, and when they are seeing any abnormalities or irregularities, anything suspicious, we wanted them to be able to report it through the app into the VotifyNOW system. Now, by the way, this is just the way the app originally started, and realized that this will not create too much trust if all this information just comes into one system. So I would say we got the first version of the app up and running by about January. By late January, we realized that it would be such a better thing to have the information that people are submitting in, and they usually attach a document or a photo or a video. But we need to be able to shoot the information that they're sending us right back out to the users in the area. The section is called the additional incidents section in the app, so that not only are users, voters, submitting anything that they see that they think could be nefarious, but also they could hit the additional incident button and see what activities are happening in their county or their state, depending on how big we make the area for them to view. And this is usually based on, if it's a smaller county, we usually let them look at the whole state, etc. But it's this sort of preemptive trying to let people see what else is going on in their community that we thought could really be key in creating more trust with election integrity. So this is all live now. Your audience can go to VotifyNOW.org, and they can read about the website and the app. They can watch the explainer videos. Everything is right there. VotifyNOW.org is a one-stop shop. Then they could download. We asked them to first read a little bit about it. It's very short, or watch a couple explainer videos. They're very short, easy to digest, and then download the app and just test it out. it's everything is free. I'm not only the founder. I was stupid enough to pay for the whole thing, which they say you're supposed to use other people's money. Well, I didn't do. Yeah, we don't have any donate button. Everything is just trying to sort of do my duty here and help where I can. So that's sort of the beginning of the app, which is now live and functioning in about 36 states. And today, our system is blowing up since today is Primary Tuesday. We've got already hundreds of
Yes.
incidents being reported. Yeah, once I jump off this call, I'll be back manning the command center and helping to report and share these incidents with people.
Are you able to share with us a little bit of what you are seeing come in?
Um, that's funny you say that. If you will allow me to step away for 1 second, I do have a card that, and I should have sent this to you in advance. My apologies. I do have a card about 1 foot away here. Allow me to grab it, and I'll show you guys a perfect example.
Yes,
Hold on
please do.
1 second. And
All right, sounds good.
maybe you could feel.
I love this. So it reminds me of an app. I don't know if anyone else uses this, but Waze. Instead of using like Google Maps, I use Waze and use self-report traffic and use self-report what you see. So is there a vehicle parked on the side of the road? Bing. So I like that interactive aspect of it, and it makes it very up to date, and you have that boots on ground approach. So it reminded me of that when I was doing my research.
Yeah, and I apologize, you guys, for having to step away. I didn't.
All right.
I didn't have. So this is a call. This is a. I printed up one of the incidents. Now, obviously, to keep the person who reported this private, some of the info is redacted, but
Sure.
this is a good example. It's not always incidents that are happening today. So take a look at this. Let me know if you guys can see this. But I'll read to you what it says. It's from the county of Denton, Texas, and it states here: my brother James, last name redacted, resident of Round Rock, Texas. It's in Williamson County. Died in a tragic motorcycle accident near mile marker 204 on Highway 84 in New Mexico on September 2nd, 2012, but somehow submitted an in-person ballot in the same county in 2020. So this is a perfect example of the different types of incidents come in. This one was really sort of touched my heart, and
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I printed that. Most typically going on in Arizona right now in the past few days,
Hey,
many
Grace.
people. Yeah, many people reporting that they go in to vote and that the poll worker is giving them a marker, a felt marker, when the rules stipulate that they're supposed to use a ballpoint pen. And it is
Yep.
unbelievable. Now, of course, hearing one incident like this is one thing, but I'm not kidding. In Arizona, there's got to be at least 100 reported incidents of this very same thing, and it's with those big numbers where Votify Now can really have our algorithms start to create patterns, and that's the second bit of the functionality that I didn't mention in my opening. Not only do we send the information back out to the users, but we also then have our smart code look at the info, and we've got filters to filter out false flags. Of course, there's going to always be one or two things that sneak in, and I
Sure.
can't go into detail on what we do to filter out false flags. But it's when you're crunching this kind of heavy amount of data coming in that you could really see what type of activity the bad actors are doing. And more importantly, we could then shoot that information out to the counties and state in real time, usually about 20 or 30 minutes at the most behind their report. Sometimes it's instant. And then also we can send the information to other states to say, hey guys, in Arizona, we were seeing a lot of X, Y, Z. Keep an eye out for it. Maybe your primaries are
Right.
another date. So this is sort of the preemptive way that we're approaching election integrity.
I love that because that felt marker, that same thing was happening in 2020, and people
Yeah.
were taking to social media to report it. We didn't have your app then. And so a lot of people didn't feel validated or heard. We knew there was a problem, but it wasn't trackable and trendable like what your app does for everybody. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge, and it's unfortunate to hear that that incident is happening again. But at least there is a mechanism out there, and that's why we need so many more people to get on the application and start using it, so that this can really be a powerhouse. Because from everything I was reading, not only does it focus on the election integrity, but I love because I am a campaign manager for two politicians in Southwest Washington right now. And so we're constantly canvassing, right? And I'm the one scheduling out the canvassers. And I like that your app has a piece or has a functionality to it that can allow canvassers to go in and make updates while walking their neighborhoods. Can you share a little bit of information on exactly what that's used for?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. So, Votify Now is four separate tools. There's a canvassing tool similar to like Sidekick, only we don't charge anything to use it. We're not rolling out the canvassing till probably after the midterms because with voter rolls, that's such a data heavy and so many man hours are needed for that portion. What is live, and of course, the most critical thing is the election integrity tools. Those are all live right now. The candidate awareness, this is live, where we let county and party leaders suggest candidates. We put the candidates on there, and then we actually ask users to rate and learn about the candidates and give a rating. Now, we don't share the rating that users are given that candidate until some real milestones are met. And I won't go into what those are right now, but of course, we don't want to interfere with the candidate's chances. But we do ask users, it's a way basically of polling, and we can let the candidates know how they're rating. And the candidates can choose to maybe improve something that voters, app users are reporting that they don't like. So the tool
Oh,
for
I like
candidates.
that.
The candidate awareness section is live now. Then we've got the city council and school supervisor section. This is all for those, moms for liberty and all these groups that want to participate in the city and school level of elections. That goes live in about 2 weeks, so that's coming. And then, of course, the election integrity, candidate awareness are live and functioning now. School supervisor, city council, election and info goes live in a couple of weeks with the canvassing tool coming on towards the end of the year. But of course, right now, with so much focused on the midterms, this is why
Yeah.
we've got the election integrity. I do want to mention one more thing that I'm so excited about. So I mentioned to your audience the the additional incident button that people can hit to see additional incidents. Well, in about 2 weeks from now, when a user clicks that additional incident button, they're going to get a map that pops up with hotspots that they'll be able to touch the hotspot and get the information of the incident straight out of a 2000 Mules. But this is actually not a movie. This is real-time action. And we color code the spots on the map based on white being the most benign incident and red being what we feel is the most the incident that needs probably the most attention. This way, at a quick glance, someone could see, hey, over there in that part of town, there's a bunch of hots. Maybe we need more boots on the ground over there. And some people ask me, well, what are you going to do about this? I mean, we are talking with certain law enforcement agencies, but really the core essence of Votify Now is for users and community leaders and party leaders to look into these incidents. Know that we are storing this and preserving potential evidence, but really we're not trying to do a cyber ninja audit or any kind of an affidavit type of thing. We are trying to get people looking at information in advance so that they can put out a little fire of cheating. They could put that fire out before it has a chance to turn into a
Good.
big forest fire of cheating.
I love this. If you see something, say something. I see that all over your, your application and your website. It's amazing for people to feel empowered and have a place to be able to actually report what they are seeing, because nothing is more frustrating than knowing something is happening and having nowhere to send it to. And no way to alert others. So I really appreciate you coming on. I know we spoke earlier. Your application is on fire right now. It's election day. You have a lot of reports
Yeah.
coming in. I am going to release you into the wild to put those fires out, or at least to let other people know about them. But I really appreciate you're a great patriot, and thank you. All right, Juan, let's go ahead and roll that video that can. It's just a quick 1.5 minute video that will tell you guys a little bit more about this application.
In today's video, we're going to be covering the election integrity tools within VotifyNOW. When you log in and click the upper left-hand menu bar, you will see your election integrity tools appear. Let's run through a scenario to demonstrate how VotifyNOW works. In this example, we will say I'm a user facing a problem with mail-in ballots piling up in my mailbox. I open the election integrity tools, mail-in ballot issues, then write a brief description and take a photo or video and submit. Here's where it gets interesting, as two different functionalities happen. First, the incident gets filed into the VotifyNOW database, where algorithms look for patterns of suspicious activity that can then be gathered by admin users assigned to monitor said activity. These admin users would typically be your local party leaders and other volunteers looking to help with voter integrity. They would know the area well and could act as first responders looking further into incidents. Secondly, VotifyNOW sends the incident to the other users from the same area, so that everyone can share what they are witnessing with each other. This will help users know what to look out for. It is this two-prong approach that makes the VotifyNOW so effective. As you can see, there are several other categories laid out here. Remember, if you see something, say something, and make sure to report and submit any issues you think might be suspicious, as it's better to be safe than sorry. That's it, and thanks for watching today's video. Verify Vote. VotifyNOW for a better tomorrow.
Great video there. We're here with Amber. We're back with Amber Richardson. Amber's been on before. Amber ran for governor in Oregon's race. Remember, our primaries were months ago, folks. So we're the odd ones here in Oregon. But Amber, great to have you back on. And I know you've partnered with Johnny a bit in getting this app out there. And I didn't know about it until you told me. So I appreciate what you're doing for him already. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good, and thank you so much for having me on today and getting this app out there. It's so important. I mean, as you know, can you imagine if we had this app during our primaries? I mean, one of the things I kept thinking about was what happened to you guys in Clackamas, or what happened to us in Jackson County, where we even had an observer who, they saw a name up on the screen that came by 3 times the same name. Yeah. That's kind of an irregularity that would have been nice for the observer to be able to kind of maybe put into this app. And, we saw things in, Coos County. We saw things in Clackamas. We saw things in Multnomah. And these are things that we could have been able to, put into this app and be able to, our counties be able to, talk to each other and maybe say, hey, is this happening there? Is this happening here? Exactly. And so when I got to meet Johnny and he got to start talking about this app, I thought, oh my gosh, there's so many things that happen here that maybe are happening in another state. This is a way that we can start communicating and learning state by state. Maybe some of the things that are happening in Oregon are probably happening in Arizona. Who knows? But this is a way that we can.
Yes, I love this. Amber, I got to tell you, we talked a lot about Clackamas County when you were on the last time. And when I was doing research last night for this morning's recording, I was like, I'm going to go check my ballot because, again, I'm in Clackamas County and we had severe issues. I still see zero record that my ballot was ever counted. So, yeah, I mean, it's incredibly disheartening. We had an incredibly low, as a state, and you probably know this number. Do you recall our voter turnout for the primaries? I remember, I thought it was in the teens, something minuscule.
Yeah. So that's the thing too, is that they keep saying that we have low voter turnout, but then when we go and we talk and we canvass to people, I have met so many people that say, no, I turn in a ballot every single
Mhm.
year. And so that's what part of the canvassing is so important. And what I love about the app is that, yeah, there's a canvassing tool on there. And we do have different teams that are out there canvassing, but there's all these other different canvassing tools. So then if we could just use one tool, it would be so great. And so, how awesome is it that we have this great Votify Now app that has not only candidate awareness, it has canvassing on there, it has all of these different tools all in one place, which is another great thing about it. And so I was so excited when I got to talk to Johnny and started looking into this app. And I was like, wow, here is something where we got to take everything that we've always wanted to use, especially, in Jackson County. We have our Jackson County Action Team. We've been canvassing since the 2020 election, and we have been finding out so much. But how do we take all this information and where do we put it? We have a place we can put it. And
Right.
so, yeah, this is so exciting, and it's going to be so great to see that we could probably take all of Oregon and we can start uniting our state, because that's one of the things we always talk about as well. So I'm
Right.
really excited to kind of
Exactly.
get out there and talk to as many people as we can, get as much of this app and this information out to as many people. And I know you're going to be there to help with that as well.
Oh, of course. And I know, as people probably saw, talked about administrators, like local folks that can be an administrator for the application that know the area well. I know that there's talks of you doing that for him, at least for your area, which is fantastic. I mean, we need this so badly. I remember when I turned my ballot in on election day, what was it, back in May? There were two folks on motorcycles. They had American flags and everything, and they were keeping an eye on the ballot return box, which is fantastic. And we need more of that. But what they didn't have was this application where they can go in and say, I'm seeing some funny business, right? And so, and I also
Exactly.
like Johnny's idea. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something. I also like Johnny's idea of, it really puts the responsibility back on the community. And it's not where he's going to be, or the app is going to be, say, policing activities that are being reported. It's more about, it's giving us a tool to hold people accountable and to engage law enforcement and authority when we need it. But also, it's the accountability piece. So I think it's just incredible all around, and I cannot wait for it to take off like wildfire.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, even after the primaries, I went to dinner at one of my favorite restaurants in Southern Oregon, Luna, and there was a couple there, and this is where he was saying, like, this is bipartisan, which I love that too, because it's
Right,
not, election integrity isn't just one party, right? Election integrity means that
right,
we want election integrity across the board. And so I was there eating, and there was a couple there, and they told me, I know you're Republican and all, but I am a Democrat, and I didn't have any governors on my ballot this primary. And I said, oh, I said, okay. I said, you got switched to NAV. And that's never happened to you before in the past, has it? And they said, no, I've not, that's never happened. I said, okay, well, I got switched to NAV in the 2020 election, and it happens to a lot of people in the state of Oregon. And depending on what zip code that you're in and things like that, would you like to stand up for election integrity? And can I get your name and number? And we can kind of, go from there. And if I had this app, right then and
right,
there, we could have at least, I mean, it would have been at my fingertips, but then I had to get this person's name and number, and
yeah,
kind of slipped through the cracks right there. But right then and there, that person didn't even vote the same way I did, but they had their vote stolen.
right, right. It is important that we want this for both sides. I think of the free speech, and I feel like it's important that people on both sides check this. I think we want free speech for everybody. We don't want it. We don't want to mask the left like we are being masked on the right, right? So we want voter
Absolutely.
integrity across the board, just like we want free speech across the board. And so yeah, that is incredibly important. And I like that it's non-government related too. That's another point I wanted to hit out there. This is not
Oh
a
yeah.
government app. That is so crucial. So I really like that he created this because, especially us living in a state like Oregon, and I know he's originally from California, though he did escape jailbreak and he's in Florida now. But living in a state like us, it's hard to feel, or it's easy to feel like your voice, your vote doesn't matter, especially when things like this happen and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, outside of me calling the county again and saying, can you provide me evidence that my vote was even counted? By the way, I've done that and never heard back from anybody. But
Yeah.
this actually gives you that portal.
Yeah, I'm so excited to take all of the stuff from just this primary election, from the 2020 election, and just start downloading it into this app. I mean, we had, like you said, when we talked about the Clackamas, not only did you guys have bad barcodes, knowingly bad barcodes, by the way, 2 weeks prior to the primary election, but they still sent out the ballots. And then after that, they said, don't worry about it. We'll just transcribe your guys' votes. And we hired a team, but just, I hope you just can trust that. And then we'll put it on ballots and then we'll scan them through. But just, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we had 6 counties in the primary election that had a printing supplier issue. Then they had a last minute change who they went to. And in those 6 counties, guess who they were? I mean, Clackamas, Jackson,
Yeah.
Multnomah, Marion,
Right.
the usual suspects.
Right.
And then
So that's the
last
thing,
minute,
like
those had to
Clackamas
go to
County is a swing county. It's actually quite conservative in many areas. And so what a better place. I'm just putting this out there. What a better place to have a ballot and a barcode issue than the third largest county in the state that is primarily conservative. Whoop, your votes didn't count. So and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I mean, just hitting home even more importantly, why we need an app like this to hold accountability and at minimum be a deterrent. We see what's happening with crime across the nation, and it's primarily really out of control in states that don't have a deterrent anymore. Oregon, Washington, we see it in New York, Chicago, when there isn't a deterrent or some type of repercussion, then it's just going to continue on. And that's what's been happening with these election irregularities.
we're bringing
Yeah,
it back to
all
the
the more.
people. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, seriously.
So
And
I'm so
that will
excited about this.
improve. I am too. And I am really, I mean, I'm going to be at, so I work for Senator Don Benton, who has a huge political career, but this is probably the last thing he will run for. Who knows? Maybe not. But he's running for Clark County councilman. And so I will be at his election party this evening watching the votes roll in. And it's he's very conservative, and it's a very conservative district. So it will be incredibly surprising if it doesn't go in his favor to where he continues through to the general. You guys know I'll be putting some rant videos out if that happens. But I feel very hopeful. But really, we need the voter turnout. People don't realize how incredibly important it is to vote in the primaries. And basically, if you don't vote, people, I don't want to hear a word out of your mouth. So
Exactly.
that's where I'm at. And also, what I like about this app is how we mentioned it will very soon have where you can go in and put in where you reside and then what school board meetings are going to be available, etc. Because it's another thing. If quit complaining unless you're going to do something about it, right? So I'm
I love it.
completely at that point where keep your mouth shut unless you're going to put action behind it. And for me, 2022 was a year of action. I spent a year and a half being a keyboard warrior, doing quite a bit, being vocal, right? Spreading the truth, even though I got shut down a lot of times. But I was like, you know what? It needs to go next level. We need boots on ground, and we need that from everybody. And so I put my money
Absolutely.
where my mouth is. We want to see that from everyone watching here.
Absolutely. I mean, I ran for governor. Like,
Right?
I had Facebook take my governor page down a week before the elections. I mean, like,
So bad.
if that doesn't tell you
Exactly.
something, like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, but doesn't mean that you don't keep trying, and we've got
Right.
to keep going, and you have to vote. Like, that's the thing, is that no matter what, people say that, oh, if my vote doesn't count, then I don't vote. That's exactly the opposite. That means you have to gear up, get out there, and keep voting, because if you don't vote, then how are we supposed to know that's why this app is going to be even more important, right? That's how we check,
Yes.
and we get those anomalies. That's how we get those irregularities, if we get out there and you do vote. So,
Exactly.
so
All right.
I'm
Well,
so
I
excited that
appreciate
you
everything
had me
you're
on and we got
doing.
to talk about this. And thank you for
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, thank you for connecting us and what you are continuing to do in your community. We need more people like you. And it's just really motivating to be able to hear about something like this app. And for everyone watching, please take the time and go get the app and start playing around with it so you can see all the capabilities that are currently in place, and then you can read about ones coming up in the very near future. We appreciate everyone tuning in again here in Washington. Well, I'm not in Washington State, but pretty damn close, right over the river. It is election day. This is a big deal. So I will report back to you the outcomes of what is happening here, boots on ground. But you guys have a wonderful day, and keep watching our reporting from CPAC Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day. We're going to be reporting it out. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening.